Hey there, I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things. Welcome. Today, I have got some boxes to open. Okay, quick backstory. You remember that Color Computer 2 with the banker board, the 256K Color Computer 2 that I got from a person named Sheldon McDonald? Well, I've got some more stuff from him. You see, on my way to my cabin this year, I stopped in to see L. Curtis Boyle, and lo and behold, he had another package for me. Well, actually, it was a whole bunch of packages. Well, just take a look at this. So today we are going to be opening up all of these, and I can hear you saying right now, what's in the box? Well, what's in the box is a TRS-80 Model 1 computer and a whole lot of other stuff to go with it. So, as I have no idea when the last time this computer was turned on, I'm going to open up the boxes, take a look at everything, check under the hood to make sure that when I turn it on, no magic smoke is released. And we'll just go through and turn things on as we get them set up. So, yeah, I guess we've got a bit of box opening ahead of us, but before we do that, I have to give a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. PCBWay, where you can have PCBs printed starting as low as $5 for 10 boards. Not only can they print PCBs for you, but they offer assembly services. And they can make parts like cases or other things with CNC machining, sheet metal laser cutting and bending, 3D printing, and injection molding vacuum casting. PCBWay is much more than just PCB printing, so why not visit them today at www.pcbway.com and PCB prototype the easy way. What exactly is the TRS-80 Model 1? Well, first, originally it was known simply as the TRS-80 computer. That would be the Tandy Radio Shack 80 because it was made by Tandy, sold in Radio Shack, and had a Z80 processor. It was one of the holy trinity of computers released in 1977. Those were the computers that really brought the home computers to the masses, the others being the original Apple II and the Commodore PET. The TRS-80 went on sale August 3, 1977, which was the third in the holy trinity to be released that year. It sold for $599.95 as a kit, which included the black and white monitor, a tape drive, and a computer with 4K of RAM, 4K ROM, and a Z80 running at 1.77 MHz. It also came with a full-size keyboard built right into the computer. Separately, you could buy the parts for $199.95 for the monitor, $399.95 for the computer, and $49.95 for the tape player. As for sales, one consistent thing that I found is that by the end of 1978, the TRS-80 had well outsold both the Apple II and the Commodore PET. The initial run of the computers in 1977 sold out in the first month, and the pre-orders that came in pushed those sales figures to around 10,000 in the first month. By the end of 1978, just a little over a year later, the sales were over 100,000, making this a much bigger success than Tandy Radio Shack had guessed. All right, now that we know a little bit more about this computer, let's open up the first box and let's see what is in there. It's a monitor. It's a Radio Shack TRS-80 video display. And you may be looking at this and thinking, that looks a lot like just an old TV set. Well, it probably was. This would have been just something they converted over, so there would have been probably the tuner knobs here, and there would have been a speaker grill right here with probably a speaker in it. But as the TRS-80 Model 1 was not intended to have sound, there's no need for a speaker, and because it just displays the computer. There's no need for tuning knobs. So let's take a look around the back of this. And one thing I did not mention when we were looking at the front of it is that there's a cable coming out of it. This is where you would plug it into the computer for the video. On the back here we can see made in Taiwan, model KTR123S, manufactured July 1978. Pretty plain Jane on the back here. We just got the cable wrapped, the power cable wrapped around here. And there seems to be two adjustments. That's a horizontal adjustment. Yep. And there's one right there that has nothing written on it. Also, other things that I did not mention on the front here are the power button and two knobs here that say C and B. So that would probably be contrast and I don't know what B would be. And that is the Radio Shack TRS-80 video display. And also in that box we've got a couple of other things. There's a ribbon cable, which I'm assuming goes into the back of the computer, into something. There is instructions for the tape player. Radio Shack information guide for new computer owners. And the TRS-80 microcomputer technical reference handbook. Very handy to have if this computer's not working, because I just quickly flipped through it and hey, it's got all kinds of schematics in the back. I just love a company like Radio Shack that intends you to actually work on their products, and they easily make stuff like this available for you. And what does the next box have in it? Well, it has the computer. So here you go, the Radio Shack TRS-80 microcomputer system. Full keyboard on it, which was one of the big selling points for this computer over especially the Commodore PET, which just had that weird little square chiclet keyboard to start out with. So what do we got on here? Well, on the back here we have 3 DIN plugs here: tape, video, and power. We've got a power button, and we've got what looks like the spot that this would plug into, which looks like an expansion port. So I'm assuming, yep, that would fit right on there. Not going to do that quite yet until I know what the expansion cable is for. And then on the bottom, there we go, TRS-80 microcomputer system, catalog 2610001, serial number 054910. And in the box with the computer, we had a few other things. TRS-80 service contract. Yeah, I don't think I'll fill that out and mail it in. Some blank plates for different parts of the computer. Some more blank plates. Those are just plastic. They would go over covers of things. And some more blank plates. A spare cable of some sort, and a lowercase driver tape. So now I need to find some cables. Then we can pop this open, make sure that things look okay in it, and then we can plug it in and try it out, because this is just the initial system that will run. So I looked through pretty much all the boxes and I could not find a power cable, a power supply, nothing like that. So I headed off to Mr. Internet and I started looking things up. And there's something included with this that, takes a little bit of explaining on why I couldn't find a power supply. And that is, this was in one of the boxes, and this is the TRS-80 Radio Shack expansion interface. And the expansion interface has the power supply for the computer in it. Thus the reason that it's got two power cords. One is for the computer and one is for the expansion interface. So there's technically two power supplies inside of this. And then it's also got all kinds of places to hook things up. I believe this is the one that you hook your computer into. So looking at the manual, this would be where the computer plugs in. This is a expansion card edge. On the side there is another expansion card edge and another card edge for something. And then on the back you've got 3 jacks for cassette, and this is for the floppy disk drive. So I think what we're going to do now is we are going to take this apart to check the board. We're going to take the computer apart to check the board. And then we'll try and hook everything up and see if we can get it to turn on without blowing up. And the first thing we're going to do is open up this expansion interface to take a look at it. So the sticker on the top here says it's catalog 26-1140. And for you serial number junkies there, it's 073083. Under this flap here should be two power supplies. And there we go, 2 Radio Shack TRS-80 power supplies. This gray cable here is what you plug into the computer. Then it goes into the wall. And this one, the exact same power supply, gray cable, plugs into an internal DIN plug there. And there's a date stamped on the inside of here, June 23rd, 1981. Now let's look and see what's under this cover. And under this cover we have a little board. Not sure exactly what that board's for, but it does have a switch on it. How about I go see if I can find out any information about it. And I'm back, and I bet you're wondering, what did I find out? Well, this is an expansion board. It's accessed through the card slot on the side here. So it's connected to that somehow, probably right under here. And the example that it gives in there, so I'm just going to assume this is probably what it is an RS-232C expansion. So you can, use that. So I'm going to put this back together, flip it over, and access the board that's underneath it. Well, thank goodness the warranty seal is already broken, so I don't have to do that, so I won't get in trouble. We've got a bunch of different size screws, so it looks like the outer ones are about the same size as the 2 here. The 2 at the back are a bit shorter. Okay. There we go. Well, it is looking beautifully clean. But I am going to take a really close look at these capacitors and everything and see if, yeah, there's anything that's looking not too good. Okay, well, I donned my magnifiers and I looked very closely at everything on this board, and yeah, to me, it all is looking pretty darn good. All right, well, let's put it back together and I guess take the computer apart and take a look at its interior. Okay, it is time to open up this computer and take a look at the inside just to see how it looks. And I've noticed something on the back here that gives me a little bit of pause for concern. There's could be rust on these two screws here. Now I'm hoping that it might be something more like a Loctite or something, but. And there's a warranty sticker here that I'm going to have to break. Let's get a good close-up look at this warranty sticker, just for posterity. So that is Radio Shack Warranty Depot Pressman Repair at 401 Paqua Place, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. All right, well, let's go through the warranty sticker first. Alright, looking at this closer, it actually looks like that's orange paint that's on the top of these screws. So I do not think that there's any rust in here. All right, here we go. The interior of the computer. There we go. It's very oddly put together, very tight. All right, there we go. So that is all very tight in there. So you got the keyboard connector over on this side. You've got a little daughter board connected right here. And lots of chips. Some of them are even socketed. Blank one right there. Not sure what that's for, but now it's time to go over this with my magnifiers and see if there's any problems. Okay. Not sure that I ever mentioned it, but this is the very first Model 1 I've gotten to play with. Chances are I've probably seen them at Radio Shack in the past, but yeah, never really played with them. So one thing I'd like to know, for you knowledgeable people out there, is this factory or not? Now, we have a piggybacking chip here with bent out legs going over to a solder point there and over to a chip here. And that looks like it's a Z47. Or is that just a way of doing a RAM upgrade or something like that? But anyway, looked over this board. Everything is looking pristine and beautiful. So it is time to put it back together, and then we can start plugging things in and trying them out. All right, I've basically got this set up to test it out. Now, I currently do not have the expansion interface hooked up. I've only got the power cable for the main computer plugged in and the video display. Why, you ask? Do I not have the expansion interface hooked up? Well, I want to try the computer out first. If that works, we can move on to the expansion interface and see if that works. And this way I'll know if one or the other is not working. I'll know which one it is. All right, so I'm not sure anything came on there. Let's try. Oh, yep. I can see it starting to flicker. Takes a second to warm up. And here we go. Okay. Ooh. Okay, nothing seems to be working, but the LED is on, so the computer is definitely getting power. Okay, well, I do have a thought. I mean, it's probably not, but is it possible that I have to have the expansion interface hooked up? I doubt it. I mean, unless there's been something done to this computer that makes it only work with the expansion interface. So I guess we'll hook it up and try that. See if that makes any difference whatsoever. Okay, so for hooking up the expansion interface here, remember this cable that I had earlier? Well, this end, this is the left side of the keyboard, and it just quite simply plugs in right there. And this one plugs into the leftmost port on the front of the expansion port. And there we go. I am now ready to try this out with the expansion interface hooked up. Will that make a difference? I don't think so, but hey. Alright, the expansion interface is hooked up, so turn it on. Turn on the computer, or turn on the monitor. Let it warm up for a second. And still a completely blank screen. Well, this is disappointing, but not surprising. All right, so I guess it is time to retake the computer apart and check for any dry solder points, any chips that are socketed, see if they've gotten loose or not. See if we can come to the bottom of this. So, what are you doing? I can hear you ask. Well, it's quite simple. First, I pulled the power supply out of the expansion module so that I don't have to set it up to test this board out. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going through, I'm just pushing on all of the socketed chips to make sure that they are seated. And I've actually come across a couple that were a little bit crunchy, seem to be out of their sockets just a slight bit. And then I'm going to flip this board over and I'm going to go through looking at all the solder joints to see if there's any dry solder joints. So I've started looking over this board and I found a few things right here, possibly there. A couple places that might be dry solder points. Off the camera, I've just spotted a couple more, so yeah, I'm going to do some reflowing here and see if we can't get this thing working. If you're watching this video, then chances are you like retro. If you have a Tandy color computer, a VIC-20, a Commodore Plus 4, 16, 64, 128, or Amiga, then I would suggest checking out Retro Rewind. They sell hardware, diagnostic cartridges and accessories, capacitor kits, and they will even recap your board for you. So for all of your Commodore and color computer needs, visit Retro Rewind at www.retrorewind.ca. And if you use my discount code of CRT10 at checkout, you will save 10% on your order. Check out the link in this video's description. Okay, I went through and I found maybe 24 solder points that I thought would be a little suspect. So I added a little fresh solder, reflowed them. Now, let's see if that helped. And it did not. Well, I guess it is now time for me to really get reading this book and try and figure out what's wrong with this computer. Well, that was disappointing. But on the plus side, I do have the technical reference manual, which I'll be looking through to try and figure out a jumping off point to figure out why this computer's not working. And I'll also watch some YouTube videos, of course, to see, because really I don't know anything about these computers, so this is going to be a complete learning experience for me. Now, when this computer was put away, I'm pretty sure that I was told that it was working. So chances are whatever's gone wrong with it has been because of age, not because of, I know a common problem is the DIN plugs on the back are all the same. And if you plug that power cable into the wrong one, like say the video out, well, things can go definitely wrong from that. But I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened. And yeah, there's the possibility that the monitor is not working and the computer is working, but because we're getting something on the monitor, and when you turn it off, you can see the picture tube warming up and then disappearing and all that other stuff, I think the monitor is probably working. And unfortunately, this also throws a wrench in the plan for my Tandy videos. I was going to be doing a bunch of Model 1 videos about different things, learning how to program on it and all that other stuff. And unfortunately, without a working computer, I'm not going to be doing that. And because I'm here at my cabin, I don't have access to all of my repair stuff. I've got a little bit of stuff here that I can try and figure out some of the stuff that maybe is going wrong there, but I doubt I'll be able to repair it. So it won't be till the end of September when I get home before I can actually do an actual repair on this computer. Unless, by a miracle, it's something simple. So, yeah, well, I've only unboxed 3 of the 7 boxes. So, in the next video, I guess I've got more stuff to unpack. And we'll see how it survived the age of being packed away. And see if there's more repairs I have to do there. But, yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you join me for the future videos. And yeah, don't forget that a like, a subscribe, and a comment below are all things that help the channel out a lot and are greatly appreciated. But until next time, I will see you later.